Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are diving into an important update that directly impacts millions of South Africans, particularly our senior citizens and pensioners who rely on monthly grants to make ends meet. If you or a loved one receives an old age pension from SASSA, then this is definitely news you do not want to miss. The South African Social Security Agency has officially confirmed a payment boost that's already begun, rolling out an increase that takes the grant amount to over 2,300. That's right, the 2,300 plus is now confirmed, and there's more to this story than just the amount. We're going to walk through what's changed, why it matters, who qualifies, and what pensioners need to do next. So make sure to stick around until the end to get every detail, because this affects financial planning, food security, and general well-being for so many in our country. Now, for a long time, pensioners in South Africa have voiced concern over how difficult it is to stretch their grants across a full month. Between rising grocery prices, soaring electricity bills, transport costs, and unexpected medical expenses, that money just doesn't go as far as it used to. And we all know that for many elderly citizens, this grant is their sole source of income. That's why any adjustment, especially an upward one, is significant. The confirmed increase to over 2,300 per month is not just a number on paper, it's a tangible sign of relief in the face of economic pressure that has weighed heavily on pensioners for years. Let's talk about the specifics. The new pension grant has been officially raised to R1,290 for individuals over the age of 60 and R1,310 for those over 75. That's an increase from the previous amount of R1,080 and R2,100 respectively. It may not seem like a massive jump at first glance, but over the course of the year, it adds up. That's nearly R2,520 more annually for a person over 60 and R2,520 more for someone over 75. When you're living on a tight budget, every rand counts, especially in the face of increasing inflation and uncertain economic times. The increase officially kicked in at the start of April and forms part of the adjustments announced by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana during the 2024 budget speech. According to the Treasury, this change is not just a goodwill gesture, it's a necessary response to the rising cost of living and a move to protect the most vulnerable members of our society. The government has committed to strengthening the social safety net, and this is just one piece of that puzzle. But what's also important is that this change wasn't automatic for everyone. It's vital to understand that while the amounts have changed, the eligibility requirements remain the same. To qualify for the old age pension, individuals must be South African citizens or permanent residents, 60 years of age or older, and must not be receiving any other social grant for themselves. In addition, means testing still applies. For a single person, the income must not exceed R86,280 per year, and if married, the combined income must be below R172,560. As for assets, single individuals must have less than R1,227,600 in assets, while married couples are limited to R2,455,200 combined. These thresholds determine whether someone qualifies for a full or partial grant, so it's crucial to understand where you stand within those figures. Now let's move beyond the numbers and explore what this increase actually means for daily life. For many pensioners, an extra R200 or more each month can be the difference between affording a few extra nutritious meals, buying basic hygiene products, or simply not having to borrow money from family or neighbors to get through the last week of the month. The psychological impact of such a change cannot be overstated. It brings a sense of dignity, a little more independence, and the ability to plan with a bit more confidence. It's not just about survival, it's about quality of life. But there are also some practical things pensioners need to know. First, the payout dates. SASSA follows a fixed schedule each month, and it's crucial to keep track of these to avoid unnecessary stress or confusion. For April, May, and June, payments have already begun to follow the updated grant amounts. Beneficiaries can receive their grants through various payment methods, including direct bank deposit, cash send, or by collecting at designated pay points such as post offices or retailers like ShopRite, Checkers, Pick n Pay, and Boxer. It's recommended that those who haven't updated their payment method in a while consider using direct deposit to avoid long queues and potential delays. Another point that deserves attention is the importance of updating your personal information with SASSA. If your contact details, banking information, or marital status has changed recently, it's critical to report those updates as soon as possible. Incorrect or outdated information can lead to delayed payments or issues with verification. SASSA has made it relatively simple to update details via its online portal or in person at local offices. Just make sure to carry the necessary documents, such as your ID and proof of address. On the topic of verification, many pensioners have also experienced issues with biometric re-verification. SASSA uses fingerprint and facial recognition technologies to ensure that grants are paid to the correct individuals and to prevent fraud. However, if your verification fails or if you miss a re-verification deadline, your payment can be suspended. That's why it's critical to respond promptly to any communication from SASSA and to follow up on unresolved issues. If you've recently been asked to verify your identity and haven't done so, please prioritize that immediately. Let's now talk about how this increase plays into broader government efforts. The South African government has been under intense pressure to expand its social assistance programs in light of worsening economic conditions. Unemployment remains stubbornly high, and food insecurity affects millions. The old age grant is one of the most stable and trusted parts of the social protection system, and increasing it was seen as one of the more effective ways to directly improve livelihoods. In fact, in his budget speech, Minister Godongwana emphasized that social spending remains one of the biggest line items in the national budget, even amid efforts to reduce the deficit. Interestingly, this increase also comes at a time when the government is exploring the idea of introducing a basic income grant, particularly for unemployed adults between the ages of 18 and 59 who currently fall through the cracks of the social security net. While that proposal is still under discussion and may take years to fully implement, it signals that the government is trying to adopt a more inclusive and holistic approach to tackling poverty. For now, pensioners continue to receive the most consistent and substantial support among all grant recipients, which shows the state's commitment to caring for its elderly population. But what about other forms of support that pensioners can access in addition to their monthly grant? Well, many municipalities offer rebates on utilities and property rates for senior citizens. If you're over 60 and a homeowner, you may qualify for discounts on your electricity, water, and municipal bills. These vary by city or town, so you'll need to check with your local council, but they can make a meaningful difference in your overall monthly expenses. There are also NGO-led programs that provide food parcels, health screenings, and legal aid for pensioners, resources that can be extremely valuable when money is tight. At the same time, scammers have been targeting pensioners more frequently. With the increase in the grant amount, cybercriminals and fraudsters are finding new ways to exploit the system. We've seen fake SASSA websites, phishing emails, and SMS scams pretending to be official communications. Remember, SASSA will never ask for your banking PIN or password via phone or text message. If you receive suspicious communication, report it immediately and never share personal information unless you're certain it's from a trusted source. It's also a good idea to involve a trusted family member in your financial matters if you're unsure about technology or online security. We've also seen encouraging signs from various sectors that are working to support pensioners. Some grocery chains have started offering senior citizen discount days where pensioners get a percentage of their purchases if they shop on specific days of the week. These types of community-based initiatives complement the government's efforts and highlight the collective responsibility we all share in caring for our elderly population. If you or someone you know hasn't yet taken advantage of these types of programs, ask your local retailers if such offers are available. You might be surprised at the savings you can find. Looking ahead, it's important for pensioners and their families to stay informed and proactive. Budgeting is still crucial, even with the grant increase. Creating a simple monthly budget that prioritizes essentials like food, transport, and medication can help stretch the grant further. There are also free financial literacy workshops offered by banks and NGOs that teach basic money management skills. These may sound simple, but the impact can be huge, especially when every rand has to be carefully allocated. Another factor to consider is estate planning. Even though it may be an uncomfortable topic, having a valid will and power of attorney can prevent many legal complications later down the line. Several organizations offer free or low-cost legal services to pensioners who need help drafting or updating these important documents. It's one of those things we tend to postpone, but addressing it early can save loved ones a lot of stress in the future. And before we wrap up, let's address a question many people have been asking: will the grant increase again later this year? According to the 2024 budget, the current increase is expected to be the only one for the fiscal year. While inflation may continue to rise, the government is unlikely to implement a second increase before the next budget cycle. However, if there's significant public demand or a spike in inflation rates, we could see supplementary adjustments being debated in Parliament. For now, though, the 2,290 and 2,310 levels are the new benchmarks until at least March 2025. So what can you do next if you're a pensioner or if you're helping one? First, double-check that your information with SASSA is up to date. Next, make sure you know your payment date and method. Then, review your monthly budget to reflect the new amount and consider how to use the additional funds wisely. Whether it goes toward medical needs, food security, or setting a little aside for emergencies, being intentional with your spending is key. And lastly, share this information. So many pensioners still don't know that the new rates have taken effect or what they need to do to benefit fully. Alright folks, that's everything you need to know about the 2,300 plus pension increase. It's real, it's confirmed, and it's already making a difference. If you found this update helpful, make sure to share this video with friends and family who need to hear it. And don't forget to like, comment with your thoughts or questions, and hit that subscribe button for more news and updates you can trust. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.